Hey, so welcome to the skills review of our numerical patterns. So what you might remember is that patterns can help you predict what comes next, right? So based on what you're given, you can make some sort of uh, you can observe some certain things that helps you decide what comes next. It's a way to kind of solve mysteries. And they can also provide you with ordered pairs to represent relationships on coordinate planes, which means you'll be given a coordinate like an address, right? And then you'll be able to put it onto a coordinate plane. To identify patterns, you're going to be looking for a constant change in the values. That word constant is a really big deal because in a pattern, you can't have one thing happen and then just something else and then something else because that implies that it's not a pattern, right? It's not predictable. So in a pattern, you're going to see a predictable thing happening from one step to the next. So you can kind of give yourself a little bit of a check-in over here. And based upon that check-in, you can kind of note here some things that you still have questions about or what is not feeling very solid yet. Or you can even make some more notes to yourself about what is feeling solid. So when you're ready, you're going to get a chance to do a little practice and we'll do one together here so that you can kind of get the idea of what's happening. So it says directions, describe the pattern, and then you're going to complete the table. So there's two parts here and they go hand in hand, right? One is necessary to do the other, but you're going to want to do both. So what's happening here is you can kind of do those in any order. So you can describe the pattern and then create the table, or you can complete the table and then describe the pattern, whatever makes more sense to you. In order to complete the table, though, you kind of need to know the pattern. So let's try it, and you might see what I mean. So we know that these are going to be our X coordinates here for our header, and these are going to be our Y coordinates. And when they come together, this might make more sense when we start getting more into the coordinate plane, but they're going to start looking like this. They're going to be written like an ordered pair. So they'll be put into parentheses and split with a comma in the middle. So when we have an X of 30, the question is, what happens to that 30 to make then a 31 pop out? So we are trying to figure out the rule based on what we're given. So when we have an X of 30, we have a Y of 31. When we have an X of 43, we have a Y of 44. So it's looking like what we're doing every time is we're adding 1. So we'll take our X, we'll add 1, and we'll get our Y. 43 plus 1 is 44. So you could also go the opposite way to figure out these missing X's, right? Well, what's the opposite of addition? Subtraction, right? So 78 minus 1 is going to get you 77, which still fits the rule. When we check it, we could still say 78 plus 1, or sorry, 77 plus 1 is 78. And this would then be 1 less than 80. Add 1 and you get 80, so X here is 79. So the rule, what we can say is what you need to do to get your Y equals your X value. Your X value, in this case, we happen to plop a 30 in for our X, plus what? Well, plus 1. We're adding 1 to our X every time. So to get the Y value, you're going to take your X and you're going to add 1. No matter what that X value is, it will work. So we could try it. So if my favorite number is 13, so I'm going to say, X, you're no longer a mystery. You are now a 13. Bum-ba-da-da. And I'm going to then say, all right, thank you. And I'm going to add 1 to get my Y value. So 13 plus 1 will get me a Y value of 14. So I'm just dropping everything down. I'm staying nice and tidy, and I'm saying X, well, 13 became the X, plus 1, that didn't change. Y, oh, well, now you're no longer a mystery because 13 plus 1 is 14, right? So what happens on one side of the equation, the 14 has to be equal to what's happening over here, the 13 plus 1. So this is the rule, and then you can use it to describe or to complete the table.